I actually did not want to talk about this game again so soon. In fact, I know a lot of you are sick of the game, you're sick of hearing about the game, I get that, but it's my channel. I want to talk about the things that interest me, whether it be Suicide Squad's demise, fate, and the lessons learned from it, or it be things like Metal Gear Solid or movie reviews or any of this stuff. I use this channel as kind of like my personal, I wouldn't say diary, but just personal enjoyment outlet that I want to share with you guys. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a topic that I've talked about kind of ad nauseum. There is not going to be anything past this season. It is ending in January, and I wanted to talk about this for just a couple of minutes today. What do you think about this? Genuinely. Now, maybe you're someone who likes this game, who thinks it's misunderstood. I don't understand why. You can explain that in the comments down below. I'd be interested to hear it. But when it comes down to it, this game is dead. I mean, it's been dead for a while. No one really cares anymore. I talked about it last time, so it's like, can I show you the numbers from the Steam peaks and all that stuff again? Sure, but it's just derivative because I've done it before. The long story short is that they're just ending in January, and it is fizzling out. Now, here's the thing. I think I got one detail wrong in my last video, and part of it is because this is kind of like an ADHD level shooter with a billion things popping up on the screen at all times, and a pretty uninteresting story to me. But people are like, oh, well, Jay, no, they're not actually clones. It's like, they were the Justice League that you killed, but then, like, Brainiac revived them, and then, like, technically they died, but they didn't die, and then, like, when you bring the flashback and you're gonna bring everybody back, it's like, they're not really clones, they were the people, but they died, but we undid the death. The whole point that I wanted to make in the previous video is this. The storytelling was not good. Like, Flash kind of stumbling out of nowhere when you save him in the post-game content, then being put in stasis for a little bit in the Hall of Justice and all that stuff. It's not good writing. It's very poor. But even with how badly written that was, I was kind of crossing my fingers hoping that there would be like some more Kevin Conroy lines as Batman. Because actually, him playing evil Batman in this game, I thought was one of the highlights. I thought Kevin Conroy did a very good job. Now, that's probably neither here nor there because he always did do a good job. Even when the project he was in was not good, he himself was a bright spot on whatever that was. So the newest episode of Suicide Squad was essentially about Deathstroke, and that is the episode before the final one. There's some misinformation going around, which is that the game is done and that there's not going to be any more content. There is going to be an update in January, basically with the end of Season 4. That is going to be on January 14th as of right now, unless it gets delayed, which has happened before, which is basically going to be the final update in terms of gameplay story, if you can call it that, to the game. Now, I personally decided to play as Deathstroke in the newest update. I had not touched this game since the end of the main story, which I played over on Degenerate Plays, my Let's Play channel. If you want to check it out, that's in the description down below. I gave this game a chance. I played through the entire story, and then actually in my spare time after that, I played a few hours of post-game content. I hated the design for Joker, thought it was terrible, thought the character was just annoying and honestly off-putting. I thought the whole Nora Freeze thing was obnoxious, not a great character to involve. It's kind of like, well, instead of a normal Joker, we get like this Joker. And instead of Mr. Freeze, kind of felt like we got DEI, like discount Mr. Freeze, genuinely. Everything in this game feels like it was someone who wanted to turn the DC universe into their own thing, or wanted to turn the Arkham universe into their own thing. They didn't want to work within the bounds of what that universe had established. They just wanted to use that universe, change everything that they possibly could about it to make it what they wanted it to be, and then release a game. And I think that it's that way in terms of gameplay, in terms of story, in terms of characters, all this stuff. So am I surprised that this game is dying? No. Why would I be surprised? I'm surprised it lasted this long. One of the biggest surprises, and one of the things I will actually give Rocksteady, is that they actually did add in that offline mode. I didn't think they were going to do it. Like, I thought, it's been not a year, but it's been getting close. It's like 10 months, 11 months-ish. And I thought, okay, well, they said they're adding offline mode. but the community turned on them. All the people who were whining and complaining every time someone like me was frustrated with this game and would get mad about it, they're nowhere to be found. They're not playing the game anymore. They're not defending it online. The player base is pretty much diminished to almost nothing. So it's something where I was like, okay, well, I'm not surprised that this is ending, but I am surprised that they actually added in that offline mode. That's something I think they actually deserve props for, is following through on that promise. Now, here's something that I've seen some people in the comments say that I disagree with them on. I truly believe that media that I don't like still deserves to be preserved, outside of something like completely immoral and illegal, right? Like exploitation of people, right? On the internet or something like that. I think media that is created by humans, even if it is something I think is trash, still should be preserved. Now, do I think that this game should stay canon to the Arkham continuity? Not really. It's added really nothing good to that canon for the most part. I think the story was insultingly bad. I think that it was done in poor spirits and bad faith. I think it was done to rile up people like me who love these characters, and maybe like you who cared about the previous Batman Arkham games. This is such a staunch contrast to something like Batman Arkham Shadow. Now, anyone can have their criticisms of like it being VR only, it being on the MetaQuest only. I got my problems with the MetaQuest, for example. But I've been playing that game recently, and that's a game where it's like I can tell that the people who made it cared about the continuity. They cared about working within the continuity to tell a new story. They didn't want to change the entire continuity. They didn't want to, warp it into whatever they wanted it to be. They didn't want to make people mad. Like, they didn't go out of their way to piss people off. They just wanted to tell a story in the Arkham universe. Now, again, if you don't like VR, anything like that, I actually think that's fair. You don't have to. But, and I've said that before. I think that's a valid criticism of saying, hey, almost every game before this has been like a traditional, what people call flat screen game, which is just, a traditional third-person Arkham superhero game. I don't want to go buy a MetaQuest, or I don't have an interest in VR, or it makes me sick, any of those things. It's like, fine. That's fair. But you can tell the game was made with care. You can tell the game was made by people who cared about the universe. I can't see that in this game. I have never seen that in this game except for one portion of the game, maybe two. One would be the Batman experience that you go through, which is essentially like that museum recapping the main Arkham trilogy. Did they bother with Origins? No, but you know what? Who's surprised? That's something where I could tell that they cared. Like, whoever did the environmental design, the facial work, those kinds of things, like, I can tell those people cared. But overall, the people writing the story, crafting the world to fit their narrative, not the narrative of the Arkham games, crafting the world to fit what they wanted Arkham to be, not what it was, I could tell that those people cared about what they wanted to say, who they wanted to make the characters, and not what the universe already was. So kind of in conclusion, I am not surprised this is dying. Now, I thought about making a video talking about my experience playing as Deathstroke, and in case there's like an eagle-eyed viewer who's going to be like, hey, I know this game in and out, I can see you did this, I'll tell you point blank, I paid like $10 or whatever to just get Deathstroke because I didn't want to do the 2 to 4 hour, whatever it is, grind to get the character. Now, I totally get, again, like, I don't want to throw money at games like this, so if you want to be mad at me about that, that's fine. I think that everybody's money is their own business. If you want to spend your money on something, you can always use Fortnite code DJAY123, a game that actually hasn't died in years and I doubt will. But I did that because I wanted to actually get gameplay of that character to show you what this prior to the final update was. It wasn't really anything, though. Like, there was really no story added. Slade Wilson, he has some lines, but not much. There's really almost nothing other than a kind of cool motion cutscene. That's it. You don't actually rescue any of the League members. Nothing like that actually happens. Now, at the end of episode 8, are they going to rush it so that everybody is back? Maybe, but like, do you care? I don't really care. Maybe you do, but I don't. Like I said, I thought about making a video talking about my experience playing as Deathstroke, all of that stuff. But then I was like, well, I already feel compelled to talk about this game being terminated, which is kind of funny. Deathstroke the Terminator, as he used to be called. So I didn't really want to go outside of that. But I will say that Deathstroke himself was probably one of the more fun people to play on the roster. Like, he actually does have fun traversal. He actually has really interesting sword play. But at the end of the day, most of these characters, they play fairly similarly. There's not a huge difference. So it's like, it's fun for an hour, and after that, it just doesn't matter. So again, just kind of a recap. Am I surprised it's dying? No. Am I surprised that they're throwing in the towel? Absolutely not. The game will remain purchasable if you have, like a masochism thing going on. You can always buy it. The game is going to remain online for now. The game will be available to play offline as long as it is updated, so take that for what you will. I think that if you have to update your game via the internet to make it playable offline, that's not great preservation, but like, what did we expect? Did I expect them to reprint the discs? No. And even though I think that media I don't care about should still be preserved, I would love it if they decanonized it. Like, leave it there for people to play. It is a game. Obviously, a lot of games are not going to be for me that are going to be for other people, and that's fine. But two things. One, I think this game was not for many people. I think that's why it's already being killed off. I think that's why there was a ton of layoffs at Rocksteady, which sucks. I'm sure it was the bottom line who had nothing to do with these decisions who got, in trouble for it and lost their jobs, which is honestly bullshit. That's what this industry does all the time, so that sucks. But I think that goes to show people didn't connect with it. People didn't like it. People didn't care. And now it's dying and no one cares. It's going out with a whimper. Will they bring back the Justice League? Who knows? Who cares? I want it decanonized. I just think it adds like nothing at all to the universe. Even if you want to say it was a branching timeline, couldn't care less. Just really don't think it adds anything at all to the actual universe of the Arkham games. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you surprised? I doubt you are, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts down there. If you enjoyed the video, you want to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. As always, I do appreciate it. I have other channels like Degenerate Plays. We play through games over there, kind of podcast style Let's Plays. We've been playing through Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 recently, the original one, the original Metal Gear 2. We've also been playing through Batman Arkham Shadow, so some fun stuff over there. I have JayRPG, which is my role-playing games channel, where I take a look at things like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Star Ocean, Fable, Fallout, etc. And we have Magical Jill, where we talk about anime. A lot of times we've been talking about Dragon Ball recently, so that's been fun. And a final note, we also have our own store, CosmoBunny.shop, where you can use code DJAY123 for 10% off your first purchase of handmade, one-of-a-kind coasters, keychains, trays, and more. They're made from recycled, repurposed paper from comic books, manga, magazines, etc. that have been damaged. A lot of times they're going to landfills, they're being thrown out. We take those from local businesses, we turn them into something new for your home that we hope you enjoy, one-of-a-kind art pieces that give a little bit more transformative life to that piece of art that was already going to be thrown out. We don't print paper, we make it from stuff that already exists, so that's kind of cool, I think. I think handmade, one-of-a-kind stuff is cool, and it's coming up on the holidays, so if you have maybe a nerdy person in your life like me, and you want to get them something, that's a great way to do it and support the channel. I appreciate you. I want to say thank you to some of my channel members, well, really all of them. You guys are the best. I probably sounded tired in this video. It's just like, I know there's going to be a group of people who are like, why are you still talking about this? And it's like, well, because it's my channel and I find it interesting. And two, I also know that like, it's just, I don't think WB's going to change. I don't think they're going to learn from this. I just have a really hard time believing that they're going to take this and actually internalize it into a lesson. So it's like, I just feel tired by it. But let me know what you think. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.